I'm your husband, but why can't I touch you?
Because I'm not ready.
From the very first night after our wedding, I knew something was wrong. My wife lay beside me, but she never allowed me to touch her. Each time I reached out, she turned away or found an excuse. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe she was just shy. Maybe she needed time to get used to me. But as days turned to weeks, nothing changed. I started to notice little things. She would sit close during the day, laugh with me, cook for me, even hold my hand in public. But once night came, it was different. She built a wall between us. I began to wonder what was happening. Did she not love me? Did I do something wrong? Or was there another reason she couldn't tell me? The more I thought about it, the more restless I became. I stopped sleeping well. I would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, waiting for her to finally turn and hold me. But it never happened. Then one night, something broke the silence. I woke up and heard muffled sobs. I turned and saw the bed was empty. The sound was coming from the bathroom. I stood up quietly and walked closer. Through the half-open door, I saw her sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest, her face buried in her hands. She was crying so hard, like she was carrying a weight too heavy for her alone. In that moment, I understood this wasn't about me. My wife was hiding something that hurt her deeply. And for the first time, I began to fear the truth. After that night, I could no longer pretend everything was fine. I kept hearing her sobs in my head. My wife was hiding something, and I needed to know what it was. But I didn't rush her. I decided to watch closely. The first thing I noticed was how she avoided certain topics. Whenever I asked about her childhood or her life before we met, she quickly changed the subject. She smiled and laughed, but I could see the fear in her eyes. The second clue came one evening while I was helping her fold clothes. Her gown slipped off her shoulder for a moment, and I saw faint marks on her skin. Scars. Before I could say anything, she pulled the cloth back up and forced a smile, as if nothing happened. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay beside her, staring at the ceiling, asking myself questions I couldn't answer. Were those scars from an accident? Or had someone hurt her in the past? The next day, I tried something different. I reached out to hug her gently from behind in the kitchen. She froze immediately. Her whole body stiffened. Then she stepped away, her hands shaking as she forced a laugh. "You startled me," she said, but her voice was trembling. It wasn't me she was afraid of. It was something deeper. The more I tried to understand her, the more confused I became. She loved me during the day. She cooked, laughed, held my hand, and planned our future. But at night, and in quiet moments, her guard shot up like a wall. I knew then this was more than just shyness. My wife was carrying a wound she didn't want to show me, and I feared that wound was far darker than I imagined. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. Every day I watched her smile, but every night I remembered the scars and the way she froze at my touch. It was tearing me apart inside. One evening, I finally gathered the courage. She was in the living room, folding clothes. I sat beside her, my heart racing. "Can I ask you something?" I said softly. She looked up, smiling as if nothing was wrong. "Of course." I hesitated, then whispered, "Why do you always pull away from me?" Her smile faded instantly. She looked down at the clothes in her hand. For a moment, she didn't answer. Then she forced a laugh. "What do you mean? You're overthinking things." But I couldn't let it go. I reached out and gently touched her hand. "Please, you can tell me. Whatever it is, I won't judge you." Her hand trembled in mine. I saw her lips tighten, as her eyes filled with tears. At first, she shook her head. "No, you won't understand." I squeezed her hand. "Try me." And then it happened. The wall she had built finally cracked. She dropped the clothes, covered her face, and began to cry. Through broken sobs, she whispered in the truth. She told me about her past, about how someone she once trusted had hurt her years before she met me. She told me she had carried the fear ever since, afraid of being touched, afraid of being close, afraid of being hurt again. My heart broke as I listened. Suddenly, everything made sense. The distance, the tears, the scars. I pulled her gently into my arms. This time, she didn't push me away. She cried against my chest, and I held her tighter. That night, I realized my wife's silence wasn't rejection. It was pain. And now, it was mine to help her carry. After that night, nothing felt the same between us. For the first time, she had let me see her pain, and I knew I couldn't let her carry it alone anymore. The next morning, she sat quietly at the dining table, her eyes swollen from crying. I placed her breakfast in front of her, tea and bread, but she only stared at it. I pulled a chair and sat across from her. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice small. I shook my head. "Don't thank me. Thank you for trusting me enough to tell me." Her eyes filled again, but she quickly blinked the tears away. "I was afraid you'd see me differently." "I don't," I said firmly. "If anything, I love you more now, because I finally understand." For the first time since our marriage, she reached for my hand herself. Her touch was soft, hesitant, but it was hers. That single gesture meant more to me than anything. Over the next few days, I noticed small changes. She no longer avoided me when I walked close. Sometimes she leaned against my shoulder while we watched TV. Sometimes she smiled and touched my arm without flinching. These were little steps, but they were everything. One evening, as the sun set, we sat on the balcony. She rested her head on my shoulder. Her voice was quiet when she said, "I want to try to heal, but I'll need time." I kissed her forehead. "Take all the time you need. I'll be here." The truth was, I didn't care how long it took. Every moment we shared now was proof that walls could fall, that pain could ease, and that love, patient, stubborn love, could mend even the deepest wounds. That night, for the first time, she didn't cry herself to sleep.